Hello and welcome to Learning Plan 2 2.2 Lab 2. Go ahead and open up this file in your browser and in Visual Studio. Go ahead and add in your name, section, and email, and then we'll dive in. We're going to need to add some JavaScript coding to the area that recreates each of the following blocks, each of these samples down here. We're only going to use one document write for each of the outputs, so we got to figure out how do we do this. Because the output has to be exactly the same as here, and we have to include any quotes, like our double quote here. We have to include that. Our single quotes for the apostrophes have to be included as well. We have to only use 4, so by the time we get done it'll look like this. There's a single quote in this string. You better not say hey. There's a boy who's shouting hey too loud, and this is a tricky one. How do I do this with just one document write? So let me show you how we do this and why we're doing this. So here in this first one I have document write. There's a single quote in this string, and to get it on its own line I'm just using the \n. But the reason why I'm having you do this is if you look here and I take these out, my double quotes, you notice how I have a single quote here and this is a different color, because you don't have to use double quotes. You can use a single quote. The standard practice is to use double quotes like that, so it wraps everything in double quotes and single quotes. But so that takes care of the single apostrophe and have it doing something quirky with our code. But that leads us to another problem. On the next line we have you better not say hey. Now let me show you. I'm going to take out these backslashes here. And see, here's the problem we have. Because we have double quotes around hey, and we actually want the double quotes to print out, it recognizes in the code, hey, you started off this string by wrapping it in a double quote here, and I'm looking for another double quote to close this string. So the interpreter says, well, the next double quote I'm finding is here. So this word hey is not within my double quote. So it's expecting either a parenthesis or a plus symbol there to add it to the line, something to say that, okay, this is not, you don't have this inside as a string, this is a variable. Well, it's not, we don't want it to be a variable, it's part of the string. So how do we get it to recognize that this is actually the last double quote? We use the escape character, the backslash. If we put a backslash in front of these, what that does is that tells the JavaScript interpreter when it runs into one of these backslashes to say, oh, well, this backslash tells me that there's something special coming after. It could be a special character like the end to say it's a new line, or it could be saying I need to treat my quote as a literal double quote, not as a delimiter of my statement. Now on a side note, you may be asking yourself, well, how do I actually get a literal backslash to print out if I need a backslash in my string? Well, the way you do that is you just do, let me put it in another spot here. Instead of just one backslash, you do 2. That tells it to print off one backslash. The second is the actual literal backslash it's going to print out. The first one is the escape character. So we had to do the same thing here on the bottom, where we have the escape character escaping the quotes, so we can have that print out. And then we have the tricky one. If we go back to our file, we have this tricky one where we have it do it in several statements. Here's how we did that. This is a tricky one. This \n is actually the carriage return. This is a tricky one. How did I do it? See, I have another \n. How did I do it with just one \n document write? So I used the / character to do that. We could have used a break tag, things like that. We couldn't use the document write line because the assignment says we had to put it in one line by itself. So we had to use either the \n or the break tag. Either one will work. If you have any questions, let me know, and happy coding.